Hey guys, Sam from West Meadow Rabbits here. If you know me, you know I do a little bit more than just rabbits. I'm always working to try to produce more food out of my small suburban yard, in addition to increasing biodiversity. So what you're looking at right here is a few of my apple trees, and underneath these fruit trees are all pollinator gardens. Most of my gardens around the yard are pollinator gardens or herb gardens, are usually a combination of herb food and wildlife habitat. So in the suburbs, your yards typically look like this. Lots of fertilizer, green but barren wasteland. Then you've got these somewhat messy looking beds where I've got free wood chips and etc. Along with my apple trees, don't use any pesticides, nothing like that. So one of the cool side effects of that is you get wildlife that is otherwise going functionally extinct using your area as an oasis. So perfect example, while I was edging this bed, I discovered a gray tree frog hibernating under this mulch bed here, mostly because it's cool, dark, and moist. I'm gonna put this little guy back here. There you go, buddy. Gonna rain. Let me just cover him up, put him back like I found him. So what's cool about that is that right there is your natural pest control. He is hibernating at the base of one of my apple trees, which are notorious for, getting every kind of pest imaginable. And here's a bit of future food for him, probably hibernating as well. And so by letting these natural processes play out, when you're getting it established, basically, there is a few years of where you feel like you're a failure. Pests are out of control, the whole thing's a mess. But what's happening is it takes time for the predators to naturally move back in, because typically predators are much more sensitive than pests to environmental conditions. But now, after these trees have been here for about 5-6 years, I've got tree frogs hibernating at their base. There's my natural pest control right there. They won't get everything, which is fine. There's plenty of built-in slack in the system where the trees can handle a little pest pressure, which is also good for them because then they naturally ramp up their anti-pest chemicals within them as well. Point is, it's a whole functional system, and this is what we strive to do. You got to get out of the mindset of having these instantaneous results that the modern world has given us, which I'm very grateful for. I'm not one to crap on modernity, and I don't even think that some aspects of industrial agriculture are that bad. But it's worth pointing out that those benefits are useful in certain contexts, but should be used sparingly. When we don't need them, if we can afford to have a little bit more natural process that moves at the speed of biology, then you get, in the long term, very impressive optimal outcomes. And this is nice for me for a couple of reasons. Low maintenance, does not require a lot of work. Low inputs, doesn't require money to bring in fertilizer or pesticides or anything like that. And then the added aesthetic benefits of having a functional ecosystem in my yard rather than a dysfunctional ecosystem that is maintained artificially for reasons that may or may not be preferable depending on your context. You could go whole hog. I know a lot of permies would see this green that's still here and want to turn this all into a nice mulch garden, or you could, I've seen neighbors down the street grazing sheep on something as small as 2 acres. There's a lot of different ways you can play it. It's just nice to see, though, that, again, look at what's around this little island right here. Not exactly ideal tree frog habitat, yet they found a habitat that was big enough for their needs to be met, probably large enough that tree has enough insect pressure on it to justify feeding a tree frog. And then, over time, this ecosystem will build up and we can harvest off the excess. Anyways, I just wanted to say, do what you can. You'll get the benefits. More rabbit videos coming out soon now that it's spring. I apologize for the delay. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks a lot.